where you have the red thread in all these calls from national leaders or from leaders of the national member states of the EU and the EU representatives is our concerns for the civilians. I mean, there is too much, way too much of civilian suffering, and that needs to stop. And this is what High Representative was actually saying in Israel. If you look at the transcripts we published from his meetings with the foreign minister and with the president of Israel, it's very clearly there, expressing solidarity on one side, but also appealing on proportionality when it comes to protection of the civilians, appealing on the fact that the Israelis, although they suffered huge terrorist attack and terrible tragedy, they should not be consumed by their rage. And they should be very attentive to the distinction, to what is actually distinguishing us from the terrorists when it comes to our response. So again, if you read the transcripts of what HRVP is saying in Israel, you will see that he is delivering very clear and firm messages when it comes to our positions, European position of 27 member states, when it comes to protection of the civilians and the need to reduce and eventually end the civilian suffering.
Thank you, Peter. And indeed, as Peter has recalled in the previous reply, we have a very clear statement by the EU27 of the 12th of November, of Sunday, in which the EU has called for immediate pause in hostility to establish humanitarian corridors. We have called for humanitarian access, recalling Israel's right of defense in line with international law and international humanitarian law, of course, condemning the acts of Hamas and calling for the release of the hostages, and condemning very strongly the use of civilians as shields by Hamas. I think the position was very clear in the statement. It's a position that the HRVP has reiterated on a number of occasions, and the President as well has made very well known in several speeches she has given in the past. Protection of all civilians must be ensured by all parties, and there is no contradiction in being in solidarity with Israel and acting on the humanitarian needs of the Palestinians, which is what all institutions have been doing.